This chapter has just fully solidified to me that Yukinobu Tatsu knows exactly what he is doing when it comes to the entire amnesia romance side of DanDaDan's story, because Okarun's struggle with his inner personality is something that I think anyone who is like an introvert or anyone that kind of struggles with anxiety is going to fully understand. And I've seen a lot of mixed reviews on everything going on in the community in regards to this chapter, specifically how Okarun handles this whole I am going to be the one that makes the move on Momo first, and it just utterly backfiring entirely this entire chapter. But to be completely honest with you, I think it's just pure consistency when it comes to this character as Okarun, because sure, we have had so many chapters now where Okarun has become a different person entirely from who he was originally. He was a reclusive, introverted person that didn't really move out of his own zone. When people talked to him, he just assumed that they were talking to someone behind him. He genuinely did not expect someone like Momo Ayase to ever acknowledge him as a human being. And since being acknowledged by Momo, Okarun has come so far to the point where even without Turbo Granny now in this most recent arc, he was still a formidable foe to go up against the villains and protect his friends, protect Momo, and protect everybody that he has come to build these relationships with over this entire course of the series. So now, when Okarun has all of that prior character development, all of that confidence and everything built up to know that Momo and me have gone steady, we have established our relationship, and we have both admitted that we like each other. I am not gonna let Momo's amnesia stand in my way whatsoever. I'm gonna walk right up to her and I'm gonna get her. And what ends up happening? He fumbles. However, again, this is such a very human thing. Despite Okarun having all of the confidence and everything built up in his head, everything is telling him that he should be able to just walk right up to Momo, talk to her, and everything will go perfectly. But there's also that small voice inside the back of his head that says, what if it doesn't? And that's the most real thing of all in this series, that if Okarun was able to just immediately go right after Momo and solve everything right off the bat, it just wouldn't work, personally. Ken being stuck sitting here by himself and just self-deprecating and telling himself that he's stupid, and he's basically just outright becoming a stalker at this point because he doesn't have the balls to just walk right up to Momo and say, hey. Instead, he gets scared and he's just been following her around all day, wanting to talk to her, but not actually doing it. And honestly, in any other scenario, this would just be making things so much worse for Okarun, because then she's just gonna think he's a freaking weirdo, and it's just gonna ruin everything that he wants to work towards. And honestly, yes, that is Okarun's fault, because he feels like it's not a good time. She's having so much happy moments with her friends that she's close with and still remembers. Why would I go ahead and ruin that and shake that all up? And again, it's a very realistic feeling. However, thankfully, Momo Ayase is, well, Momo. She's not just your average high school girl, and she's not going to find Okarun super creepy because he's stalking her. Of course, Momo, the exact kind of polar opposite personality, sees this dude following her, not talking to her, and just stalking her all day, and instead of being weirded out by it, she literally brings him into a corner of the school where no one is and just confronts him directly and says, hey, you've been tailing me everywhere. What the heck is going on? You need to tell me why you're following me. And sure, Okarun tries to play it off like, I don't have anything to say, like, I just happen to be going this direction. And she's like, yeah, towards the emergency exit where there's no other way you could possibly pretend to be going. And he tries to run away from her, and just in classic fashion, Momo immediately just grabs him and tries to force him to look her way, just like very, very early on in the series when they were just starting to get to know each other and Momo was learning what Okarun's boundaries and limits were as a person. It's very clear that subconsciously, Momo still has feelings for Okarun. Her mind may not remember the exact moments that they shared. However, the body, the soul, every part of that still feels, as she calls it, relief when she looks at Okarun. She knows that when he was there for her, she was a person that she cared about So much so that she feels something looking at him that she doesn't feel when she looks at anybody else. And again, subconsciously, she knows that she's meant to feel something for Okarun, to the point where I don't think she would handle this situation the same with any other person. I think it's due to that subconscious feeling that she kind of just confronts Okarun and talks to him outright and just starts grabbing him and pulling on his face. And also, not for nothing, she says that Gigi did mention to her that Okarun was a previously really close friend of Momo's and she's just unable to remember everything. So she does also know that she's suffering from amnesia and she's supposed to know this person, but she doesn't. And her calling him out and saying that, "Who are you?" and looking at Okarun with that way is exactly what stops Okarun from wanting to talk to her and just, man up and talk to her, because realistically, he's scared that she's just gonna look at him the exact same way she did before. This video is sponsored by GamerSupps, the ultimate energy and focus formula. Use my code NOOP now for 10% off, and thank you GamerSupps for sponsoring the channel. This was pointed out to me, and I'm not sure how true it is, but I believe it. This is genuinely the very first and only time that I think we've actually seen Okarun shed full-on tears and start crying completely. Out of everything that's happened in the series, all of the sad beats that have occurred in the story, all of the terrible and tragic moments, and even the life or death situations, Okarun has never once shed a tear, but it's Momo not remembering him that makes Okarun cry. And this is honestly a pretty contested moment, but I actually love it very much, and I think it's very true to Okarun's character and also the resolve that he built up last chapter. Through this quick interaction, Momo basically says, "Hey, look, I don't remember you, but Gigi says that we were really good friends. I know this is awkward, this is weird, but you know what? I do apologize, but maybe we can just work through this," and everything like that. Okarun, however, follows this up with, "No, you're wrong, Momo. We weren't close friends. We weren't good friends at all. You don't have to try to force to be friends with me, and there's no need for you to pay any attention to me whatsoever." And a lot of people are like, why would Okarun say this if he wants to get back with Momo? And the truth is, we get his answer in the next following page, which is, in order to become Momo's good friend, he's gonna make that effort. He doesn't want Momo to pity him. He doesn't want Momo to come talk to him just because she feels like she has to or she feels like she was supposed to. That resolve, that confidence that Okarun has to talk to Momo, make her fall in love with him all over again, become great friends with her all over again, and start all of that all over again, that's all there. That's all inside of him. Even though he's scared to do it at first, Okarun knows in his body, soul, and mind that he can do that. He knows he's capable of it. So instead of just taking the easy way out, letting it be, "Oh, well, I kind of remember you, maybe we just kind of have to work stuff out and eventually everything will, come back into place and I'll be, really good to go." Okarun says, "Screw that. We're not friends. Don't come talk to me. I will be the one to come talk to you. I will be the one to be friends with you. I will be the one to be assertive." Because again, Okarun does want to regain his relationship with Momo, but realizing that Momo is in a situation, this amnesiac situation where she doesn't remember anything, she's nervous, she's scared, she doesn't really understand the world as it is right now. If Okarun was in this situation, Okarun knows that Momo would go out to him, be there with him, reach out to him, just as she did all of those times previously in the series. Every time Okarun thought that maybe we aren't good friends, maybe, I was wrong to assume this, maybe I shouldn't go say hi to Momo, maybe Momo's not waiting for me at the school gate, maybe I'm wrong. When in actuality, Momo was the one that reached out to Okarun every single time he tried to pull away. So now, to make up for all of those efforts that Momo did in their first relationship, Okarun wants to be the person to make those decisions in the second one. So I don't think this was a lapse in judgment or Okarun quote-unquote fumbling, as a lot of people are saying, and Yukinobu is just trying to draw things out. I think this is genuinely proof that Okarun has changed. Okarun has become a new person that knows he's capable of winning Momo's heart all over again. So instead of taking the way out, he outright rejects that. He rejects Momo here when she offers him the pity friendship. He says, "I don't want none of that. I'm gonna be the one to talk to you, and I'm gonna be the one to make us good friends again." Honestly, just Okarun being able to say that, even though he's crying and even though he's saying it through tears, is proof that he does have that resolve, he does have that confidence in him. He is the exact same person that Momo fell in love with the first time, so he will be the same person that Momo falls in love with again, especially now that he is willing to make that effort. And the chapter ends as Momo appreciates everything that Okarun says, even though she probably doesn't understand it completely, grabs him and turns him around and says, fine, look me straight in the eye and tell me everything you need to then. Let's skip all of that and tell me how you really feel. And obviously, in classic DanDaDan fashion, that is way too much and way overstimulating for Okarun right off the bat, and he cannot look her right in the eye once she turned him around, which, of course, classic pisses Momo the fuck off completely as Okarun tries to work around it and say he can't do this, it's too much for him, and again, Momo is just angry because their dynamic will never change. And again, those feelings exist even though Momo can't remember him. That connection they share isn't something that memories are required to feel. It's something that is of the heart, of the soul, and god damn it, here I am talking about romance in a shonen manga, and it's, you know what, Yuki no Butatsu's something else, man, something else. I genuinely do love the characters in this series, and I am excited to see what he's able to do going forward as we continue this Okarun being the assertive one now. Let me know what you guys all think down in the comments below, but most importantly, if you're looking for more content to watch, do not forget I have other weekly series if you're reading them. Kagurabachi, JJK Modulo, Sakamoto Days, Chainsaw Man, Gachiakuta even, so don't be scared to check that out on this channel. And there's also plenty of other things that aren't chapter reviews if you're not looking to redo the chapters all over again. Watch them in my DanDaDan extra content on Seiko, Count Saint Germain's origins and the originality of his character. I've got a video on Okarun. I've even got plenty of videos of DanDaDan on my main channel as well, No Operator. So don't forget there's plenty of stuff to binge on that. And guys, I appreciate you if you made it this far into the video. Love the support, hit that like button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.